Hi folks, Amri here. Hope all is well. I have more questions. And so this question today is around building trust. So how do you build trust in a work environment where our interactions are more frequently asynchronous and digital? So I've thought about this a lot. Back in 2012, 2013, I started for my then company to develop uh, education, learning around remote engagement and remote teams, and for people who were working remotely. Some of the people that I worked with then thought I was crazy. They thought, like, why is this DEI? Why is this diversity and inclusion? And I was like, when people are outside of an environment, there's naturally a proximity bias that arises. So that was the biggest reason for it. And in many cases, it was breaking down the possibilities for connection and the possibilities for people, quite honestly, to make their best contribution. So we had to do something about that. Fast forward, I think they still use some of that education till today. And it's something that I really believe it was based on how humans interact, etc. So I think it's extremely important. But to answer this question, I want to put it into a model that's a part of my book, Reconstructing Inclusion. You could find a link to pre-order it in my LinkedIn profile, or go to inclusionwins.com to find a way to pre-order. But this notion of creating trust comes from the model that we call the cost of inclusion model. So the cost of inclusion model starts with the C, that's caring. Caring means interdependence, it means relatedness, it means that you're helping people to develop, you're intentionally doing so. Secondly is openness. Openness means listening, it means sharing information, it's a willingness to be influenced by the so-called other. That's one way I actually define inclusion. When you're open, you're willing to be influenced by somebody often that has less power than you do. The next one is safety, and this is mental, physical, and emotional well-being. It's sensing what's going on. It's balancing your kind of influence and power to make sure that people have what they need to thrive, and that the power dynamics are not getting in the way of that, particularly in a remote environment. That becomes extremely important because there's things that you just can't see and you can't know, even if you talk to the person incessantly. Now, the last one is trust, and this notion of trust comes from Louise Diamond. Dr. Kathy Royal introduced me to Louise Diamond, who was a prolific scholar, and talked about these four levels of trust. I'm going to give you three of them. So one of them is, I trust that you understand my interest. You've listened to my interest, and you're taking them into account. Next is that you care enough about me that you want my interest to be satisfied. Next is, not only do you understand my interests and that you care and want them to be satisfied, but you understand my interests well enough, and you will represent me and represent my interest, especially when I'm not present. So caring, openness, safety, and trust. If you want to build the capacity in an asynchronous and a digital environment, then you need to think about the cost of inclusion in your organization. Caring, openness, safety, and trust, and doing those things all the time, particularly when people aren't physically present. I hope that was helpful. Thanks for listening. Make it a great day. Peace.